Welcome to Commander's Daily, everybody. I'm Bob Matthews. This is your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of it. Our top story today, you can see it there. We are just 2 days away from a uniform change. All right, not a complete uniform change, but on Wednesday, the Commanders are going to be unveiling their alternate uniforms for 2025. And all of the reporting we have seen, and there are serious people who take this very seriously, and those serious people in the organization that are reporting what you're going to see on Wednesday is a throwback to the Joe Gibbs era with jerseys. It's going to be that color burgundy that you're going to see on the uniforms that they're going to use. I do expect them to be all burgundy, with white and yellow accents, as opposed to white with the burgundy and yellow accent, but who knows? The bottom line is this is going to take you back visually, again, to the 80s when this team was winning Super Bowls. As far as the helmet logo, I'm really not expecting that to change. One of the reasons being when the team, put out that teaser last week, if you look closely, and of course they did that on purpose, you could still see a W etched on the helmets. But I do think that now, one of two things are happening there. Either that's a misdirection and they are going to do a little redesign on the helmet as well for the alternate games, or I think it will definitely by next season. I think you're going to see that W disappear as the logo on the helmet, and they're going to bring back some sort of a spear. It's not going to be the same spear that the team had on its helmet that the Redskins used back in the 60s and early 70s. That's not going to happen because, again, Native American imagery, they're getting away from that. But if you saw the pictures, the publicity photos that the team took of Jaden Daniels holding that gladiator-type spear, I think it's going to be a spear much like that. And what they're doing basically is, they're not only leaning into the imagery from the glory years of the franchise, but also almost kind of making the nickname kind of irrelevant. If they bring back enough of the imagery that they can from back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, I think what they're hoping is that it's not that people will forget about the name. Obviously you can't, but because the name is so generic, if you've got all of these images, from the glory years, and the team keeps winning, that could be the way they're going to go with the branding here over the next few years. Now, we'll see. There's a lot going on, but one of the things in addition to the alternates that's, going to be this, these colors from back in the 70s and 80s, I also expect what you see for the alternate jerseys this year is going to become the main jerseys for the 2026 season. Josh Harris has said they want to get the franchise back to the glory years as much as they can. The name Redskins isn't coming back, but this is probably the next best thing, and they are banking on the fact that that's going to make a difference. All right, what else is going on? Well, Terry McLaurin did a little bit of posting on social media. If he is sweating the contract negotiations, it doesn't look like he is showing it, at least not in public. Posted a very, very nice picture from the tropics somewhere where he is vacationing. Again, doesn't seem like he is too concerned about it. And as we have said many, many times here, we are not concerned about it either. I'm not going to be concerned about it until, say, week 2 of the regular season. I remember, and again, we talked about that last week. That's when I remember an Emmitt Smith holdout going that long. I don't think that's going to happen this time with Terry. He will be at training camp. I really believe that. I think they're going to get the deal done before that, and everything is going to be fine. If you look at his numbers for this year, he's counting $25.5 million against the salary cap this season. What he is looking for is an extension that's probably going to give him an annual value somewhere between $27 and $30 million a year. And, of course, as we all know, he's totally worth all that. Again, I think if you just look back at the way Adam Peters and John Lynch ran things in San Francisco, it might take a while, but they always get the deal done. So, again, I don't think you have to worry about it. One of the Commanders super fans is hyping up Jaden Daniels for this year. That is, of course, Kevin Durant, who is now a member of the Houston Rockets, but took to social media the other day, hyping up Jaden, saying, yes, sir, big season ahead at Commanders and at JD_5. Even Malik, he did that in response to a post quoting Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors, who wouldn't criticize Durant's loyalty to the Commanders because Malik Neighbors' best friend is Jaden Daniels. So he said, hey, my best friend is their quarterback, so how can I talk trash to KD? You've known, KD from the DMV, longtime Redskins/Commanders fan. He, like everybody else, I think, is just fired up to get this year going. Finally, we try to do it every once in a while, but we thank all of you for writing in and leaving a comment below. Please feel free to leave comments below on this episode as well. But we've gotten a few over the last few weeks, so I thought I'd read a couple of them. A lot of you guys are talking about the uniform changed. KZH7475 said that the black uniforms are even worse than the cranberry ones. Remember, it's burgundy and gold, not black and gold. Well said. I completely agree with you, KZH. Yeah, I was kind of meh on the black uniforms. Not crazy about them, but I get, why you do that. One of those things to try and fire up the crowd. Always reminds me when you get the black shirts like that. It always reminds me of Brigata Garibaldi back in the day. For those of you who know your Italian history, you will get that one. Peter Rohan -DH 3RM at Peter Rohan -DH 3RM said, love the old helmet with the lance on it. Fingers crossed they bring back the lance. And again, Peter, you're going to get a version of the lance. I don't think you're getting it until next year, but you are going to get a version of the helmet with the lance. It's just not going to have the feathers on it. That's just the way it is. And again, I think, the theory behind that is let's try and get the most people on board as we can. There's always going to be a segment of the fan base that won't accept anything more than changing the name back to Redskins and bringing back the old logo. That won't happen, but I'm interested to see, what they have come up with, because I think that this group has pretty much made one right move after another since buying the franchise. So I'm very, very interested to see what they come up with next week. All right, that's going to do it for us. We got to get on out of here. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can. Talk to you again tomorrow. And remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.